What if I told you that the most sacred space in the entire universe, the very throne of God, wasn't somewhere in the distant heavens, but was actually waiting to be constructed right inside your own mind? We all picture this majestic, impossibly huge structure made of light, grand beyond all comprehension, somewhere out there. But what if that very image, that entire way of thinking, is a veil? What if it's hiding a truth that is so much more personal, so much more powerful, and closer than we could ever imagine? Well, according to the groundbreaking research of Dr. Hani, we're about to explore a paradigm that reframes, well, everything. Our understanding of consciousness, our perception of reality, and our fundamental connection to the divine. So get ready, because this isn't just a new interpretation, it's a complete shift in perspective. Okay, so our journey starts with a concept many of us think we know, the Arsh, often translated as the throne of God. But we have to be prepared to see it through a completely different lens. See, Dr. Hani shows us that in the language of the Quran, the Arsh isn't a physical object, it's not a piece of furniture. It is your Weltanschauung. That's a German term, but it perfectly captures the idea. It's your entire mental constitution. Think of it like the operating system of your mind, the sum total of every belief, every assumption, every framework you use to make sense of the world. And you know what? The Quran itself gives us perfect examples of this. Take Pharaoh. His Arsh wasn't just his royal seat. It was his entire system of indoctrination, a worldview that he engineered to control the minds of his people, to make them active participants in their own oppression. The great anti-apartheid activist Stephen Biko put it perfectly. The most powerful weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. Pharaoh knew this instinctively. Now contrast that with the Queen of Sheba. She also had a great Arsh, a powerful and well-established worldview. But here's the difference. While it was built on a flawed premise, she was willing to re-examine it, and she corrected it when a greater truth was presented. So you have two kinds of Arsh, right? One is a prison for the mind. The other is a launchpad for spiritual growth. Okay, so if the Arsh is this grand architecture of our worldview, then what's it built on? What are the actual bricks and mortar? That brings us to the second crucial concept, the Kyrsy. And again, we have to just let go of that physical image. A Kyrsy is not a chair. Dr. Hani clarifies that in Arabic, a Kyrsy can mean a foundation or a collection of things. So in this context, it's your cognition. It's the very engine of your mind, the faculty of perception and understanding that you use to build all of your knowledge. It is the seat from which you experience reality. Here's a way to think about it. Imagine your cognition is like a pair of colored glasses that you're wearing all the time, maybe without even knowing it. These internal lenses, they filter everything. They color your perceptions, they shape your interpretations. They are the hidden architecture of how you understand the world. So many of us, we know this famous, beautiful line from Ayatul Kyrsy, وَسِعَ كُرْسِيُّهُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. It's almost always translated as his kursi extends over the heavens and the earth. And, we immediately picture something immense, cosmic, and totally external to us. But what if we've been looking at it through the wrong lens? What if this isn't about a physical piece of furniture at all, but about the absolutely boundless potential of the human mind when it aligns with the divine? Dr. Hani explains that the verse isn't describing some piece of cosmic furniture. No, it is describing the unbelievable God-given potential of your own mind. Your Kyrsy, your cognitive capacity, is what literally contains your entire perception of reality. The heavens and the earth, as far as you can possibly know them, exist within the bounds of your cognition. The verse is cosmic because your potential for knowledge is cosmic. And this leads us to the single most crucial point of this entire explainer. When you sincerely dedicate your mind, your cognition, your Kyrsy, to understanding and reflecting God, then your Arsh, your total worldview, becomes his Arsh. Your worldview becomes God's throne. So let's recap. We have the Kyrsy, our cognition, which builds the Arsh, our worldview. But as we saw, worldviews can be flawed, like the Queen of Sheba's, or even corrupted, like Pharaoh's. So how do we fix it? How do we tend to this internal throne? Well, this leads us to one of the most, and I mean most, misunderstood concepts in the Quran, abrogation. For centuries, people have talked about this idea of naskh, or abrogation, basically suggesting that some of God's verses cancel out others. And you can imagine the confusion that causes. But Dr. Hani's research reveals this completely misses the point. The abrogation isn't happening on the pages of a book. It's happening somewhere much, much closer. The real abrogation is an internal, deeply spiritual process. It's not about God's words changing, it's about God helping you change. It's about purifying your perception. When you sincerely dedicate your arsh, your worldview to God, when you ask for His help to see things clearly, a divine process kicks in. Heavenly support comes to abrogate, to cancel and cleanse the errors, not in God's perfect words, but in your imperfect understanding. Your worldview gets refined, polished, and preened until it becomes a worthy throne for the divine. Okay, when you put all of this together, it leads to this profound and really personal responsibility. It changes everything about how we see ourselves and our relationship with knowledge. You see, we usually think of our minds as just tools, right? Something to solve problems, get through the day, gather some facts. But this shows us it is so much more than that. It is a sacred trust. Your Kyrsy, your ability to think and perceive, that's the raw material. And the arsh, the worldview you build with it, that is the throne you prepare. And the question then becomes, a throne for what? For your own ego? For what society tells you to believe? Or a throne for God? So, when you look at all these examples together, it becomes crystal clear. The Quran isn't just telling us stories from long ago. It's giving us a timeless map of human consciousness. It's detailing the eternal battle between worldviews that set us free and worldviews that chain us down. And that leaves us with a final, really profound question to think about. If your worldview, your very mind, is sincerely dedicated to being God's throne, a space for His laws and His wisdom to govern, then how will you take care of it? How will you protect it and purify it and furnish it? And how will your whole attitude towards learning and seeking knowledge change now that you know you're not just learning facts, you are building the most sacred throne of all?